Tell me something. Have you ever felt like life punished you for trying to play it safe? You worked hard, saved a little, avoided mistakes, yet somehow you're still stuck, still worried about bills, still uncertain about tomorrow. Meanwhile, the people who took risks seem to be moving ahead, living the life you keep dreaming about. So let me ask you, what if the very thing you've been taught to avoid, risk, is actually the key to unlocking your financial freedom? This video isn't just about money. It's about mindset, about breaking the chains of fear that have kept you from stepping into the wealth you deserve. And I want you to make this personal. Right now, type in the comments, "I deserve financial peace." Don't just type it, declare it. Because this isn't just a YouTube video. It's the beginning of a movement. A community of people who are tired of being controlled by fear, by debt, by uncertainty, and are ready to step into power. If you're ready for that transformation, smash the like button, subscribe for more wisdom, and join this journey with me. You know what's funny? We spend most of our lives chasing safety. A safe job, a safe paycheck, a safe savings account. We were told, don't take risks, just play it safe, and everything will work out. But let me ask you this. If safety was really the answer, why do so many people who worked 30 or 40 years in safe jobs retire broke, worried, and dependent? Why do people who saved faithfully in the bank for decades suddenly realize their money buys them less and less every year? Warren Buffett once said, "The biggest risk is not taking one." And he was right, because what most people call safety is actually just slow surrender. Think about it. You put $3,000 in a savings account. It feels safe, right? But inflation quietly eats away at it year after year. That same $3,000 might only buy you half of what it could a decade ago. Safety becomes a trap. It's like standing still on a moving treadmill. You're not just staying in place, you're sliding backward. Let me ask you something personal. Do you really feel safe depending on just one paycheck? Do you feel safe knowing a company can lay you off tomorrow, and all that loyalty and sacrifice you gave could be erased with one meeting? Jack Ma once said, "Never depend on a single income, make investment to create a second source." Why? Because he understood what most people ignore. Depending on safety is dangerous. Robert Kiyosaki put it even more bluntly. Your job is not secure. The only security you have is your ability to create, to produce, to adapt. And that's the truth most people never face. Safety is an illusion sold to us, so we'll stay predictable, stay compliant, stay average. John D. Rockefeller once said, "Don't be afraid to give up the good to go for the great." But too many people cling to the good because it feels safe, and they never taste the great. Let me tell you what I've learned after more than 20 years in finance. The things we fear, risk, change, uncertainty, are often the very bridges we need to cross to reach freedom. The illusion of safety keeps people locked in cycles of fear, afraid to invest, afraid to try, afraid to step into something new, and yet the cost of staying safe is often greater than the cost of risk. Here's the truth. Your comfort zone is not a place of safety, it's a place of slow decline. But I want you to hear me clearly. It's not too late. If you're listening right now and your life feels stuck, your money feels small, your dreams feel far away, do not lose hope. Safety may have held you back yesterday, but resilience can push you forward today. You can decide right now that you will no longer settle for the illusion of safety, that you will open your eyes, open your heart, and take calculated steps towards something greater. Remember this. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's moving forward in spite of it. And when you take that first step, no matter how small, you begin breaking free from the trap of false safety and walking into the life you were meant to live. So I'll leave you with this thought. Safety is comfortable, but freedom is worth the risk. And you are stronger than fear. You are more capable than doubt. You are worthy of the life on the other side of risk. Let's talk about something most people never see coming. The hidden cost of no risk. When we think about risk, we imagine losing money, losing time, losing everything we worked for. So we avoid it. We cling to what feels safe. But here's the question no one asks. What's the cost of avoiding risk? Benjamin Graham, the mentor of Warren Buffett, once said, "The essence of investment management is the management of risks, not the avoidance of risks. Because avoiding risk doesn't save you, it silently drains you." Think about inflation. You put $10,000 in a bank account, no risk, right? But every single year, that money loses value. Groceries rise, rent rises, healthcare rises, but your money sits there shrinking in power. That's not safety. That's slow death. Now picture this. A man spends 40 years at the same job. He never invests, never tries a business, never takes a chance. He retires with a small pension and some savings. But within 10 years, medical bills, inflation, and daily expenses swallow it all. He thought he was avoiding risk, but what he really avoided was opportunity. On the other hand, someone who invests in themselves, learns new skills, maybe takes calculated risks in business or real estate. They may stumble along the way, but they grow. Their money grows. Their confidence grows. The truth is, the cost of no risk is regret. Regret that you never tried. Regret that you never invested. Regret that you played small while others created wealth. Robert Kiyosaki once said, "The richest people in the world build networks. Everyone else looks for work." Playing safe keeps you looking for security, while risk, calculated risk, pushes you to build, to create, to own. And let's not forget Andrew Carnegie, who said, "The man who dies rich, dies disgraced." He understood that wealth is not about hoarding safety. It's about creating, contributing, and leaving a legacy. So let me ask you, if you keep doing exactly what you're doing now, where will you be in 10 years? Will you be stronger, freer, wealthier, or will you still be in the same place, wishing you had taken a leap? No risk feels safe in the moment, but the bill always comes due, and the price is your dreams, your freedom, your peace of mind. But here's the good news. You don't have to stay there. You can choose differently. You can decide that your future is worth more than the illusion of comfort. Every great story of success, Buffett, Rockefeller, Jack Ma, started with someone daring to risk. Not recklessly, but bravely. And if they could do it, so can you. So remember this, the cost of risk may be temporary discomfort, but the cost of no risk is permanent regret. And I'd rather see you take a step forward into the unknown than stay chained in the prison of false security. Because freedom, peace, and wealth, they are waiting for those who are willing to risk for them. And I believe that's you. Now let's clear up something people often get wrong. When I say risk is the key, I'm not telling you to gamble your future on wild guesses or chase every shiny scheme. There's a difference, a very big difference between a calculated risk and a reckless gamble. A reckless gamble is throwing your money at the lottery, hoping lightning strikes. It's buying into a get-rich-quick scheme because someone promised overnight success. It's betting everything on a stock tip you overheard at a party. That's not risk. That's desperation. A calculated risk, on the other hand, is measured. It's researched. It's taken with wisdom. You don't throw yourself blindly into the fire. You study the flames, you prepare, and you step forward with a plan. Warren Buffett, the greatest investor of our time, once said, "Risk comes from not knowing what you're doing." That's why education is the first step before every move. You learn, you study, you understand what you're stepping into. Let me make this clear. Wealthy people don't avoid risk. They manage it. They reduce it. They tilt the odds in their favor. Think about it. When an entrepreneur launches a business, is it risky? Yes. But do you know what they do? They research the market. They study competitors. They prepare backup plans. They manage their expenses. That's calculated risk. Now compare that to someone who wakes up one morning, quits their job, and launches a business with no research, no savings, no plan. That's not brave. That's reckless. Benjamin Graham, often called the father of value investing, said, "The investor's chief problem, and even his worst enemy, is likely to be himself." What he meant was simple. Our emotions push us to gamble when we should be calculating. And let me ask you, how many times in life have you seen someone lose everything, not because they took a risk, but because they never studied the risk they were taking. John D. Rockefeller once said, "Don't be afraid to give up the good to go for the great." Notice, he didn't say throw away everything blindly. He said, give up something good in order to build something greater. That's the heart of a calculated risk. Calculated risk asks, what can I lose? What can I gain? How do I protect myself if things don't go as planned? A reckless gamble ignores all of that. So let me tell you this, when you see risk as a tool, not a gamble, everything changes. You stop fearing it. You start respecting it. And when you respect risk, you can shape it, direct it, and make it work for you. And here's the beautiful part. You don't have to be perfect. Every great entrepreneur, every great investor has made mistakes, but because they took calculated risks, they lived to fight another day. They learned, they adjusted, and eventually they won. So the message is simple. Don't gamble. Don't chase shortcuts. Instead, take calculated risks, small, measured, intentional steps that move you closer to financial freedom. Because wealth is never built on reckless gambles. It's built on wisdom, patience, and courage. And remember, courage is not jumping without looking. Courage is looking, preparing, and then taking the leap anyway. That's how fortunes are built. That's how freedom is earned. And that's how you win. Not by gambling your future, but by calculating your way into it. You see, every reward in life, every single one, sits on the other side of risk. Think about it. The child learning to walk risks falling. The student raising their hand risks being wrong. The entrepreneur starting a business risks failure. But without that risk, there is no progress, no growth, no reward. So let me ask you, if you remove risk from your life, what are you really removing? You're removing opportunity. You're removing possibility. You're removing the chance to change your future. Warren Buffett once said, "You can't reach the shore unless you're willing to lose sight of the coast." That's what risk is. It's the willingness to step away from what feels safe in order to reach something greater. Look at every great success story. Andrew Carnegie, who built one of the greatest steel empires in history, he risked everything, leaving Scotland with almost nothing in his pockets. John D. Rockefeller risked ridicule and resistance when he built an oil monopoly in a world that didn't understand his vision. Jack Ma was rejected dozens of times, jobs, opportunities, even by KFC, and yet he risked starting Alibaba. Today, it's one of the largest companies in the world. None of these men played it safe. They all risked something: time, money, reputation, even failure. And in return, they earned reward. Now let's bring it closer to home. Maybe for you, reward is not billions of dollars. Maybe your reward is financial peace. The ability to send your children to school without worry. The freedom to wake up and choose what you do with your day. The dignity of never depending on anyone else for survival. But here's the truth. Those rewards will never come without risk. And the irony is this: you've been risking all along. Staying in a job you hate is a risk. Depending only on one paycheck is a risk. Saving money without investing is a risk. The only question is, are you taking risks that build your future, or risks that quietly destroy it? Robert Kiyosaki said, "Everyone wants to go to heaven, but no one wants to die." In finance, that means everyone wants wealth, freedom, peace. But few are willing to risk what it takes to get there. And yet reward waits for the few who are. So imagine this with me. What would your life look like if you decided today that you were willing to take calculated risks? Imagine learning a new skill, investing wisely, starting that side business, finally stepping into ownership instead of just employment. Wouldn't the reward be worth it? Yes, risk is uncomfortable. Yes, it comes with uncertainty. But the greatest tragedy in life is not failure. It's never trying. And here's the part I want you to hold close. You are stronger than the risk you fear. You can learn, you can grow, you can fall and get back up again. And every time you rise, you'll find that the reward was worth the leap. So never forget, risk is not your enemy. Risk is the gateway, the door, the path. And if you're willing to walk through it, you will discover a freedom and a reward far greater than the comfort you left behind. By now you understand risk isn't the enemy, it's the bridge. But let me tell you something even more powerful. The true key is not just taking risk, it's managing it. See, people hear the word risk and think of chaos, losing everything, starting from zero. But that's not how the wealthy think. They don't run from risk, and they don't throw themselves into it blindly. They manage it. They shape it. They make it work for them. Warren Buffett once said, "The first rule of an investment is don't lose money. The second rule is don't forget the first rule." Notice what he's saying. It's not about avoiding risk. It's about protecting yourself from unnecessary loss. So what does risk management look like in real life? It looks like diversification, never putting all your eggs in one basket. John D. Rockefeller spread his ventures across oil, banking, and real estate. He didn't bet the farm on just one roll of the dice. It looks like education, studying before you step. Benjamin Graham built his entire philosophy of investing around understanding the value of what you buy. Knowledge lowers risk. Ignorance magnifies it. It looks like safety nets. Andrew Carnegie started poor, but he built reserves, relationships, and backup plans that allowed him to take bold steps without being crushed by failure. And it looks like patience. Robert Kiyosaki teaches that wealth is not built on sudden luck, but on consistent, managed steps. You don't need to win every hand. You just need to stay in the game long enough to let compounding do its work. Let me ask you, what if you approached risk the same way? Not as something to fear, not as a reckless gamble, but as something you could measure, prepare for, and manage. Imagine starting a business with a cushion of savings, a small pilot project, and a mentor to guide you. Even if you stumble, you don't collapse. That's risk management. Imagine investing in real estate after studying the market, choosing properties in stable areas, and keeping reserves for emergencies. That's risk management. Imagine learning a new skill while still working your job, so when you step into a new career, you're not leaping into darkness, you're stepping onto a bridge. That's risk management. The wealthy don't eliminate risk, they master it. They understand that fear shrinks when knowledge grows, when strategy grows, when preparation grows. So here's the truth. The real danger isn't risk. The real danger is ignoring it, or pretending you can avoid it forever. But when you manage risk, you take back control. You protect your downside while keeping your upside wide open. You step into life not blindfolded, but with eyes wide open and feet firmly planted. And here's the message I want you to carry with you. Your financial peace will not come from avoiding risk, but from learning to master it. Because once you know how to manage risk, you'll never again be paralyzed by fear. You'll be free to step forward, to grow, to build, to live. And in that moment, you'll discover that risk was never the enemy. Mismanagement was. Manage your risk, and you unlock the true key to lasting wealth, security, and freedom. Fear is powerful, isn't it? It whispers in your ear, don't try, don't move, don't risk it. Stay where you are, stay safe. And for a while, fear feels like a friend. It protects you from pain, from mistakes, from embarrassment. But here's the truth. No one tells you, fear also keeps you small. It locks you in a prison with invisible walls. How many dreams have died because of fear? How many businesses were never started because someone thought, what if I fail? How many investments were never made because someone thought, what if I lose? How many lives were never fully lived because fear convinced someone to shrink back? Robert Kiyosaki once said, everyone wants to be rich, but few are willing to be uncomfortable. And that's what fear does. It keeps you comfortable, but comfort is not freedom. Comfort is a cage. Now let me ask you, what if the thing you fear most is actually the doorway to your freedom? Warren Buffett admitted once, I always knew I was going to be rich. I don't think I ever doubted it for a minute. Was he fearless? No, but he chose faith over fear. He chose to believe that risk was not the end, it was the path. Jack Ma faced rejection after rejection. Universities turned him down, jobs turned him down, even KFC told him no. But instead of letting fear bury him, he turned rejection into fuel. Today he's worth billions. Not because fear disappeared, but because he walked through it. And that's the key. Freedom is not the absence of fear. Freedom is moving forward in spite of it. Think of fear as a locked gate. On one side is your current life, safe, predictable, but limited. On the other side is the life you dream of, financial peace, independence, the ability to choose. The only way through is to face the fear, unlock the gate, and walk forward. So how do you do it? You start small. Take one calculated step instead of waiting for the perfect moment. You build knowledge, because knowledge shrinks fear. You surround yourself with people who have already walked the path, so their courage feeds yours. John D. Rockefeller once said, "Don't be afraid to give up the good to go for the great. Fear makes you cling to the good. Freedom invites you to reach for the great." And listen, this is not about never being afraid again. It's about choosing not to let fear be the driver of your life. Fear may sit in the car, but it doesn't touch the wheel. So here's the hope I want to give you. Your fear is not stronger than you. Every time you take a step through fear, you become braver, stronger, freer, and freedom is waiting. Freedom to live without constant worry. Freedom to create instead of just survive. Freedom to know you're not at the mercy of a company, a paycheck, or an economy, because you've built something of your own. That freedom is worth every ounce of courage it takes. So when fear says don't risk it, I want you to remember this. Risk is not the danger. Fear is the danger. And when you choose courage over fear, you step into freedom, and freedom is the life you deserve. Here we are, the final piece of the puzzle. If you remember nothing else from this entire message, remember this: risk equals opportunity. The people who run from risk are the people who run from opportunity. And the people who embrace risk, wisely, courageously, strategically, are the ones who open the door to wealth, freedom, and peace. Think about it. Every great fortune started with someone seeing opportunity inside of risk. Andrew Carnegie looked at steel when no one else believed in it and built an empire. John D. Rockefeller took on the chaotic oil industry, full of uncertainty, and turned it into a dynasty. Warren Buffett risked going against the crowd, investing when others were afraid, and it made him one of the richest men in the world. They didn't see risk as danger, they saw risk as possibility. Now let's make this personal. What if the business idea you've been afraid to start isn't just a risk, it's your opportunity? What if the investment you've been hesitating on isn't just a gamble, it's your opportunity? What if learning that new skill, stepping into that new career, breaking away from the comfort zone, that's not just scary, it's the opportunity you've been waiting for? Here's the wealth equation in its simplest form. No risk means no opportunity. No opportunity means no growth. No growth means no wealth. It's that simple. Robert Kiyosaki said, "The size of your success is measured by the strength of your desire, the size of your dream, and how you handle disappointment along the way." Handling disappointment means handling risk, and handling risk means seizing opportunity. So let me ask you, are you willing to see risk differently today? Not as an enemy, not as a threat, but as a gift, an invitation to step into opportunity. Because here's the truth. Wealth is not just money. Wealth is peace of mind. Wealth is freedom of time. Wealth is knowing your family is secure. Wealth is building something that outlives you. And all of that is waiting on the other side of risk. So I want you to imagine yourself a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now. Do you want to look back and say, "I stayed safe, I stayed the same"? Or do you want to look back and say, "This, I took the risk, and it changed my life"? Because risk is the key. And every time you take it wisely, you unlock another opportunity, another door, another future. So here's my challenge to you. Step forward. Don't run from risk. Don't hide from opportunity. Because the wealth equation is simple. Risk equals opportunity, and opportunity equals freedom. And you, yes, you deserve that freedom. All right, let's land this plane. We've talked about risk from every angle, the fear, the reward, the difference between smart risks and reckless ones. But at the end of the day, it really comes down to this: your future is shaped by the risks you're willing to take today. And listen, I get it. Risk feels scary. That's normal. Fear is just your brain trying to keep you safe. But here's the secret. Staying safe is often the riskiest move of all, because it guarantees nothing changes. So here's my encouragement to you. Don't try to eliminate risk. Learn to dance with it. Start small if you have to. Take one step, one move, one chance that pulls you closer to the life you want. Because the truth is, no one ever looks back and says, "I'm so glad I played it safe." People look back and say, "I'm glad I tried. I'm glad I stepped out. I'm glad I bet on myself." And you have that same chance right now. So friend, here's your takeaway. Risk isn't the enemy. Risk is the key. Use it wisely, and it will open doors you never thought possible. Now go out there, take the shot, trust yourself, and remember, I'm rooting for you every step of the way.